Have you ever wondered if your drinking might be holding you back? Welcome back to the Quit Drinking Alcohol podcast. I'm Dillon Reed, and I'm here to help you explore the journey to sobriety and discover life beyond alcohol. In our last episode, we talked about the why of sobriety, focusing on the benefits of an alcohol-free life and how it can transform your health, relationships, and personal growth. Today, we're diving into a really important topic: how to recognize the signs of problematic drinking. This is one of those areas where self-reflection can make a huge difference. It's not always easy to spot these signs in ourselves, and often we might brush them off or make excuses. But understanding these patterns is key, and it's the first step toward making a change. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, is my drinking really an issue? Or you're curious about what signs to look out for, this episode is for you. We'll be talking about the warning signs, why they matter, and how you can use this knowledge to take control of your relationship with alcohol. Let's jump in and start exploring what it really means when drinking begins to impact different parts of your life. Before I dive into some of the specific signs of problematic drinking, I want to share a bit about my own experience, because recognizing these signs in myself was a turning point. For a long time, I ignored or downplayed certain things. I thought it's just a drink after a long day, or everyone's drinking, it's no big deal. But eventually, I started noticing patterns. Drinking was no longer just something I did occasionally. It had become a way to cope, a routine that felt almost necessary. I remember moments I would say, just one drink tonight, but that one often turned into more. Felt like I was losing control, but I brushed it off, thinking it was normal. Looking back, I can see these were signs that drinking had started to interfere with my life, my health, and my relationships. These are the kinds of signs we sometimes ignore because they're subtle at first. They don't always feel like a big deal, and it's easy to make excuses or rationalize. But paying attention to these early indicators can help you catch problematic drinking before it becomes more deeply rooted. So let's talk about what some of these warning signs look like. I'll go over a few key ones to keep an eye out for and explain why they matter. All right, let's break down some of the key signs of problematic drinking. These are patterns that often signal that alcohol might be playing a bigger role in your life than you intended. And remember, recognizing these signs isn't about judging yourself. It's about understanding where you're at and deciding if there are changes you want to make. One of the first signs to watch for is an increase in tolerance. If you find yourself needing more alcohol to feel the same effect, it could mean that your body's getting used to the substance and you're starting to rely on it. Another related sign is dependence. If the idea of going without a drink makes you feel anxious or irritable, it's often a clue that alcohol is starting to become a need rather than just a choice. Another major sign is when drinking begins to interfere with your responsibilities. Maybe you're missing work deadlines, skipping social events, or letting things slide at home because of drinking or the after effects. When alcohol starts getting in the way of your daily life, it's a red flag that something's off balance. Then there's the presence of withdrawal symptoms. If you notice that you feel shaky, anxious, or even physically ill when you haven't had a drink, it's a sign your body's reacting to the absence of alcohol. Withdrawal symptoms can be subtle at first, but they're often a clear indication that your body has become dependent on alcohol. Another important sign is secrecy or defensiveness. If you find yourself hiding how much you're drinking or getting defensive when someone brings it up, it could be a sign that you're uncomfortable with your own habits. Being secretive or defensive about drinking is often a clue that deep down you're recognizing that it might be an issue. Finally, there's drinking to cope. If you're reaching for alcohol every time you're stressed, sad, bored, or even celebrating, it's likely become a coping mechanism. When it's common to drink in response to emotions, relying on alcohol to manage how you feel can lead to a cycle where alcohol becomes the main way you handle life's ups and downs. These are just a few of the warning signs that can indicate problematic drinking, and if any of these sound familiar, that doesn't mean you're too far gone or that you can't make a change. It simply means that now you have the awareness to make informed choices about what's best for you. All right, so we've gone over some of the main signs to watch for. Now, this is where self-reflection becomes really powerful. If any of these signs resonated with you, it might be worth taking some time to think about your own relationship with alcohol. You don't need to have all the answers right now, and there's no pressure to make any decisions you're not ready for. But just being open to exploring these signs is a huge step forward. If you're up for it, I encourage you to take a moment later today or whenever feels right to consider this question. When do I find myself reaching for a drink, and what am I feeling in that moment? This is a simple question, but it can reveal a lot about what role alcohol might be playing in your life. If you like to journal, you could even jot down your thoughts. Sometimes writing it out can make things clearer, and it gives you a record to look back on as you continue exploring this journey. Remember, self-reflection isn't about finding fault. It's about understanding yourself better and opening up to the possibility of change. So take your time with this and be kind to yourself. Recognizing these patterns and reflecting on them is a courageous step, and it's one that brings you closer to taking control of your life. So that's it for today's episode. We've talked about the signs of problematic drinking and explored what they can reveal about our relationship with alcohol. If any of these signs sounded familiar, remember that you're not alone, and noticing these patterns is a powerful step toward change. It's about understanding where you're at and deciding what you want for yourself moving forward. If you found this episode helpful, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on the role alcohol plays in your life. Maybe try the journal prompt we talked about, or simply keep these signs in mind as you go about your week. And if you feel comfortable, consider sharing this episode with someone who might benefit from it. You never know who might be needing these insights too. Thank you for joining me today. In our next episode, we're going to dig deeper into understanding and managing triggers and cravings. It's an important topic for anyone looking to take control of their drinking habits, and I hope you'll tune in for that conversation.